think certainly a lot of experimentation. So what we're going to see in measurement this year is, I think, unpacking what is measurement? What do we need it for? What do we use it for? 2022, fair to say, measurement sort of being redefined for the role of currency, but I'm hopeful that we can extend beyond just currency into all of the different functions that measurement provides. And there's a lot of connected tissue between counting and measurement and audiences for the purposes of media planning, reach and frequency, but also getting towards outcomes. And we know that the buy side cares deeply about performance and proving efficacy of their media investments. And so I think in 2023, there's going to be a lot more focus on both experiments, learning, but continuing to sort of connect measurement with outcomes.
So there's a lot of talk at the moment about the future role of panels. Mm-hmm. We've seen lots of interest and investments and announcements. Why are we talking about panels all of a sudden?
It's a good question. I mean, we should have been talking about panels probably 5 years ago and the innovation that's needed around panels. What we see right now is an opportunity to bifurcate. So arguably a panel's role 10, 15, even 5 years ago was both to count, enumerate an observation, whether it's linear or digital, what have you, and then to tell you something about that observation or that impression. Who was behind the view? Did they do something? Did they engage? For how long? And I would argue that the role of a panel today, there is no single panel that's big enough to do both jobs. Certainly not well, and certainly not for all the use cases that we need. And from where we sit at Innovid, right, we're delivering billions of impressions into connected TV, into all facets of video, and arguably ad-serving technology. There are other technologies that do a sophisticated and fine job of counting, getting the enumeration correct, and that also needs to be MRC accredited. So there's still very much a role to play for getting the counting, but I think panels can be sort of bifurcated. And what we're seeing now is the new panels emerging for very specific use cases. It could be a panel that is designed to just measure co-viewing and help us understand for certain types of viewing behavior, how many people might have had that as a shared experience. You may not need a panel of a certain size to do just that job. And then there are other panels that are going to tell you about exactly, the demography of the household, the composition. So, I would argue, again, two things. One, we need to sort of liberate panels from trying to be, a master of too many things, and use them somewhat surgically for specific use cases. And that allows us to get back to counting and using new technology for counting. It's going to do a much better job at getting the granularity that we need there.
So we all know that panels and big TV data sets have to work together for the future measurement solutions. And you have some very unique access to ad server data. Tell us what particular role that plays in the measurement environment.
So what an ad server allows you to do is it captures the actual observation, and it's not just about saying, did you deliver an ad? We know every single impression, where it rendered, time of, all sorts of granularity that we actually need today, particularly given the fragmentation of all of the different places that viewing can occur, and that's somewhat dynamic. So an ad serving technology allows you to capture all of that with a high degree of fidelity, and then where it makes sense to put other types of data together, whether it's set-top box data, ACR data, we are working, leveraging Vizio's data, but we're taking steps to not just sort of take that raw data, but also use Vizio's, come out with a new set of calibration factors that help us better represent that data in certain markets. And so there's, continued innovation that we need to see out of whether it's ACR, set-top box, but I think putting those data sets together with really, really solid counting metrics that account for every impression, every view, is going to give us the, I hate the term holy grail, but really what the market needs is a sense of where was linear viewing occurring, where is connected streaming, any kind of video, digital video viewing occurring, and what's the duplication of that? And really the only way to get there is to have scaled data for the digital experiences, high quality, ACR, panel data, set-top box data those two data sets can be enriched.